Welcome back. Today, we're unpacking one of the most literally unbelievable statistical peaks in modern football history. We're zeroing in on the 2014-2015 season, a single year that completely redefined what an attacking line could actually achieve on the pitch. We're going to break down the sheer, unprecedented dominance of Barcelona's iconic MSN trio, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar. And to really understand it, we have to contextualize this explosion against their fierce rivals, Real Madrid's legendary BBC, Bale, Benzema, and Cristiano. So if you've ever wondered exactly how these three South American superstars clicked to shatter records, this explainer is absolutely for you.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at the birth of the trios. Then enter Luis Suarez. Explore the tactical turning point. Dive into the 2015 statistical explosion, benchmark them against BBC, and finally, wrap up with the legacy of 2015.
Section 1. The birth of the trios, setting the 2013-2014 baseline.
To truly appreciate why 2015 was such a monumental explosion, we first need to establish our baseline. We have to rewind just one single year to the 2013-2014 landscape, a season that demanded a massive top-to-bottom revolution at Barcelona. Just look at the stark contrast here. Real Madrid broke the bank, dropping €100 million on Gareth Bale. And the result? Instant, historic success. They conquered Europe, winning La Decima, their 10th Champions League title, and snatched the Copa del Rey. Barcelona, on the flip side, brought in the Brazilian icon Neymar for €75 million, but their season just felt completely flat under Tata Martino. They finished with 0 major titles, even missing out on La Liga to Atletico Madrid on the final day. The narrative tension in Spain was at an absolute boiling point. Barcelona needed an immediate answer.
Section 2. Enter Luis Suarez, the $80.8 million catalyst.
After that trophyless season, Barcelona underwent a total revamp. They brought in a new manager, Luis Enrique, and crucially, the ultimate catalyst for change, Luis Suarez. But, this legendary trio had a seriously turbulent delayed start. Signed from Liverpool for €80.8 million, Suarez had to serve a 4-month ban due to the infamous biting incident with Giorgio Chiellini. He literally couldn't even play for the first few months of the season. When he finally did return to the pitch in October, it was for the highly anticipated El Clasico. But it definitely wasn't a fairy tale start. Real Madrid handed Barcelona a 3-1 loss.
Section 3. The tactical turning point, unlocking chemistry.
At that early stage, things just weren't clicking. Suarez was being played out wide, and Messi was central. Then, right in the middle of a match, Lionel Messi essentially re-engineered the entire Barcelona attack. He turned to Suarez and literally said, "Hey, fat man, you cover the space in the central, I'll open the pitch for you from the right." It's such a beautifully relatable human moment of on-pitch chemistry, but it changed football history. By moving Suarez to his natural number 9 role and shifting Messi to the right wing, Luis Enrique's tactical puzzle was suddenly solved. And, well, the rest was absolute history.
Section 4, 2015, the statistical explosion. Let's move to and see how this builds. All that tension, the bans, the tactical tweaks, it all released into a mind-boggling statistical explosion in that 2014-15 season. Just take a second to absorb these individual numbers. Messi was totally otherworldly with 58 goals and 31 assists. Neymar hit his stride in his second season with 39 goals. And Suarez, despite missing the first 4 months of the season due to his ban, he managed 25 goals and 23 assists in just 43 matches. Every single component of this trio was firing on all cylinders. And this brilliantly illustrates how balanced and lethal this trio became in a single season. Together, they accounted for a staggering 122 goals. The sheer volume of scoring from just 3 players on a single roster was something the footballing world had truly never seen before. They weren't just taking turns scoring, they were actively elevating each other. Which brings us to this staggering number, 186. That right there is the total combined goals and assists, the G+A for the MSN trio in the 2014-15 season alone. 122 goals, 64 assists. It was a statistical avalanche that completely overwhelmed every single defense in Europe. But why this really matters is that these weren't just empty stats padding a spreadsheet. This output directly translated into the ultimate historic achievement, the treble.
They edged out Real Madrid by 2 points to win La Liga, they defeated Athletic Bilbao 3-1 in the Copa del Rey final, and they capped the whole shebang off by beating Juventus 3-1 in the Champions League final, with both Suarez and Neymar actually getting on the score sheet. Just pure, unadulterated domination.
Section 5. The BBC Benchmark. Contextualizing Greatness. Now, to fully grasp how dominant MSN was in 2015, we have to look at the incredible output they were competing against in the very same league. Real Madrid's BBC trio was producing a phenomenal output of their own during that 14-15 season. Bale had 17 goals and 12 assists. Benzema brought 22 goals and 15 assists. And Cristiano Ronaldo? Well, Cristiano was putting up numbers that would completely dominate almost any other era of football history. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the absolute individual dominance of Ronaldo that year. He won the Pichichi, Spain's top scorer award, and the Golden Boot, smashing in 61 goals and racking up 84 total goal contributions in just 54 matches. Individually, he was virtually untouchable.
But when we directly compare the final tallies of the Tridents, a totally fascinating picture emerges. While Ronaldo had an insane individual year, the pure chemistry of MSN as a three-man collective created a massive 36 G+8 gap over BBC. MSN hit 186 combined goals and assists, while BBC finished with a deeply impressive 150. The synergy of Messi, Suarez, and Neymar simply outpaced everything else.
So the crucial point is that 2015 wasn't just a fluke. In the subsequent 15-16 season, MSN actually escalated their dominance even further. They reached a mind-bending 204 combined goals and assists, 131 goals and 73 assists. Suarez alone scored 59 goals that year. They proved that their chemistry was a repeatable, compounding force.
Section 6. The Legacy of 2015. Chemistry versus Unit.
So, how does history judge these two historic tridents? Well, while both defined a golden age, MSN held the edge in pure statistical output and unmatched forward chemistry. They were a combination of pure talent that thrived on interconnectivity right at the top of the pitch. On the flip side, BBC proved to be a remarkably cohesive long-term unit, deeply integrated with the structural support from players like Kroos, Modric, and Marcelo, and that ultimately fueled their legendary Champions League three-peat. It's a debate that will probably rage on until the end of time, and it truly comes down to what you value most as a fan. Do you prefer the pure, statistical chemistry and attacking flair of MSN, or the cohesive, title-retaining team unit of BBC? Let that sink in for a bit. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer on football's greatest modern statistical rivalry. Keep learning, and I'll catch you on the next one.